Hello again. This is the next step in our Spring in Paris quilt along, and now we want to add these little ends to our triangle strips. So if this is your quilt and this is the border, you have pieces between the balls and the border, and these we will add now. The graphic shows you triangles, but we will have complete strips instead. So we will look for the widest balls closest to the border as our starting point, which is both rows and these both rows. So I have already made those, so I will demonstrate it with these. So this is my strip, and the graphic shows you I need a half triangle plus seam allowance here. So I added this half triangle, but gave it an extra wide seam allowance, about 1 inch or so. I did it because when I later join rows, this edge might be a little bit wonky, and if I have extra seam allowance, then I can straighten it up with one cut. Though the widest row here is my reference point. And now I add the next one, which would be that one. And I have that strip from my leftover background fabric. By the way, the height of the strip is the same height as you used for the hexagons. So I saw this one on, like that. Let's pretend it's on. And then when it is already sewn on, imagine we have that extra, we have that seam allowance in here. Now you mark a line and trim that bit off. So you have the same length. And then later you have the next row, which ends with its triangles here. And again, you saw on this piece, you can leave it as long as you have it and trim it off to the needed size then. So let's pretend this is a seam, including seam allowance. And now you would transfer the length of your reference strip, mark it, trim it off. So rows 3 and 4, and those both are the longest. So this is your reference point to start and trim off the width of your strips, and you use that for all the other strips as your measurement. So this is for adding the little white or the little solid ends between the balls and the border. And then in the next video I will show you how to join those rows.